world-famous meatball and sausage sandwiches, or indulge in one of our Frank the Godfather special sandwiches today. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday open from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience true Italian perfection, Bocce's Italian Bistro. Visit the website bocceitalianbistro.com. That's BACIITALIANBISTRO.com. Located at 8830 East Germain Road in Mesa. You deserve the best.
And you all deserve the best. And it's Thursday morning in the Santan Valley. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero, and this is CAClive. A little slower day, a little slower pace today. Joe, I'll tell you what, I have a lot of empathy for people that get the flu.
Oh, don't you?
I've
had it twice. Tell me about it.
Gosh, I'll tell you what, I can't get flu shots.
I'm actually afraid of you right now. I'm afraid to even be near you.
I don't think I'm contagious, and I know Jose slid over, but Jose Dagnino has joined us from CAC, and I know Jose and I looked at each other. We look like mirror images. We feel the same exact way. It's I'm allergic to eggs, so I can't get the flu shot. Not that this flu shot would have helped or not, but I will tell you that. I'd never been in so much pain with the flu. I mean, I thought I was just.
Did you get the upper respiratory one too?
It started that way, but that really wasn't. It was dripping and that kind of thing. And I'm sitting there at home, and I played basketball last Thursday night, and we played hard for 2 hours. And you feel good, you feel a little sore, and it means you put in a good workout. And Friday, I was aching. I'm like, wow, I really played hard last night. And by Friday night, I went home Friday. I hit the bed. I didn't get out of bed really until yesterday was the first time I even got up. And for 3 straight days, it was between freezing. Like 1 minute, your teeth are chattering. And Jose and I were just talking about this. You're sitting there, and your teeth are chattering, and all of a sudden, you're sweating.
Oh, I remember
freezing,
that. Oh.
And it's just, and the aches. And I've had the flu before, but this thing, I felt like I was in an MMA battle and lost badly.
They're getting worse and worse, the flu, isn't it?
So it's just now it drains you. I feel a lot better, and you just, Jose, right? You're just tired.
Yeah, got the energy back, and feels good to be back.
Yeah, so it's I have a lot of empathy for people out there. Take it easy, get a lot of sleep, drink a lot of water, and Tamiflu works wonders if you get it early enough. So. But I'm glad we're here because we have a very important event this Sunday. College Goals Sunday is this Sunday. It's not Saturday. It is Sunday, and which is unusual. Usually colleges don't do events on Sunday. But, Jose, let's talk a little bit about the College Goals Sunday and why this is on a Sunday and what this event is about.
Well, College Goals Sunday is the national kind of kickoff to the financial aid application season. It's the season now where students are going to be applying for the 2013-2014 academic year. That'll begin, in August for most students. But now's the time of year where students begin to prepare so that they're not, wondering how I'm going to pay for this, how I'm going to pay for that come time when school's about to start. So the College Goal Sunday is a national effort to promote for students to get out there and get their financial aid questions answered. First and foremost, getting their FAFSA application submitted.
Let's start with the event itself. Where is it and what time on Sunday?
This year we're at our Casa Grande Center. It's in the intersection of Florence Boulevard and Treco. We'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. on Sunday. We do arrive a little bit early and stay, as needed. But we will be there for those 2 hours dedicated to helping students get their financial aid questions answered and hopefully get their FAFSA submitted so that their first step is done and over with, and they can then proceed with following up with the school of their choice to make sure that their financial aid follows suit and everything is in order.
So people don't necessarily have to be going to CAC. You're there to help any student that's thinking about going to college.
Yes, College Goals Sunday is a federal effort that's put on by different institutions, but it's not in order to promote their specific institution. It's more to promote FAFSA and financial aid and getting students out there to apply for any federal aid that they may need to, finance their educational costs, or they may be pleasantly surprised and be offered a grant that doesn't have to be paid back and also assist with their educational costs.
Would you think that's one of the hardest things about starting college for somebody that's new, that the ones that need the financial aid help, or not even sure if they need it, don't even know how to go about it, but it's just that sort of monster to fill out paperwork?
Yeah, it has been in the past. The government has made excellent strides in streamlining the application process, where it then the work comes in with the student going to work with those individual schools. That's where we come in at CAC in the financial aid office, and if a student is deciding our institution, then we help them navigate through the CAC process. The FAFSA process is one entity in of itself. Then it goes into the institutional process and what that institution may require of that student.
You're listening to CAC Live. Tom DiCamillo along with Joe Carrero, and we're visiting with Jose Dagnino from the Financial Aid Office at Central Arizona College. We're talking about College Goals Sunday, and I'm going to give out the number. We're going to take calls in a little bit when Joe had to pop out of the studio, but the number is 480-745-1033. 480-745-1033. And about quarter of the hour or so, we'll start taking phone calls. So hold your calls for now. But if you have questions about financial aid, about College Goals Sunday, this is an opportunity with having an expert like Jose in the studio that he's going to be able to answer. Last time we had you in, Jose, the phone rang off the hook. We spent almost a whole hour answering phone calls. When people come for College Goals Sunday, what should they bring?
Well, first and foremost, they want to bring, the student if available. They're going to need their demographic information as far as social security number, dates of birth, for parents and stuff like that. In the past, you would have needed W-2s and or your tax information if you had that filled out. One of the strides that the government has made is the IRS data retrieval tool, which is a tool within the FAFSA that allows students and parents to link to the IRS directly and have the IRS provide the income information that's required on the FAFSA application.
Wow, that's a whole lot of paperwork you don't have to fill out anymore.
Yeah, so it's streamlined that process, and it's kind of made the FAFSA where it's foolproof. You can't make any mistakes on the income information because sometimes the questions that they ask are a little confusing. So with this IRS data retrieval tool, all you have to do is link to the IRS, acknowledge and give permission that the IRS can transfer that information to your FAFSA and transfer it seamlessly.
When people come for College Goals Sunday and to fill out the financial aid paperwork, when I was in school a long time ago, it was NCR forms, triplicate forms, those kind of things. They would get lost sometimes. Is everything electronic now?
Everything's electronic now. Fewer and fewer paper FAFSAs are actually being provided to schools, so it's in an effort to push that student to the online media, and if needed, we have computers available at this site, so everything that we will be doing on College Goals Sunday will be electronic, and even if students come into our offices on a one-on-one basis, we help them facilitate the application online. So everything is done online, from application to accepting of the awards to filling out, for student loans. Everything is done online.
So College Goals Sunday, is this something that the employees at CAC volunteer their time to come over and help on that Sunday?
Yes, it's a volunteer basis. We in the financial aid office all volunteer. We have volunteers from the community as well that come out to help out, with just promoting it, just being out there with our sign-in table, and then as knowledge increases in the financial aid area, then we're there as facilitators for filling out the FAFSA, and those hard to answer questions go to the FAFSA experts, which would be myself, our director Elisa Juarez, and then we have a wonderful financial aid team that can pretty much handle any scenario.
And this is open to anybody. They don't have to live in Pinal County. It's open. Anybody can come.
It's open to anybody. So, if you're going to be visiting here and you're going to be needing to do your FAFSA and you're in Casa Grande on Sunday, stop on by from 2 to 4. You can also visit collegegoalsunday.com and check out the other sites and other venues that will be providing the same type of information and the same services throughout the nation.
Jose, when people are filling out financial aid forms, the FAFSA forms, what are some of the things that you see that are sort of the biggest mistakes they make that causes either they don't get the award or cause them to redo the paperwork?
Well, the biggest is the way they ask the question. So they do provide with clarification and helpful hints when you're filling out the FAFSA. On the right-hand side, as you're filling it out, there's a helpful hints tab bar that kind of follows suit with you as you're progressing through the FAFSA application. So if you're stuck on a question, you want to look at these helpful hints. They also have live help and, email as with everything else. So if you're even stuck, you can hit chat with the FAFSA processor and you can chat with them live as you're filling out your FAFSA. Now, you'll have one of us on College Goal Sunday, so you won't need that. But if you're filling this out on your own and you're stuck somewhere, use those helpful hints, but also just read the question twice. A lot of times they're asking questions. For one example, they ask a question about guardianship. Some students think that they're under guardianship of their parents when that's not the case. It's a guardianship from other than your parents. So just clarifying the question and rereading it, may alleviate some of those incorrect answers.
How long does it take to fill out a FAFSA application?
A FAFSA can take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, and you hit submit, and it's off into cyberspace. The federal processor processes that approximately within 24 to 48 hours. You'll receive an email confirmation from them that they have processed it and made the information available to the schools that you've listed on your FAFSA. That's when you take it up with that individual school and follow their process. So there's two different steps. Application process is step 1, and then the follow-up with the schools is step 2.
Let's say I'm a new student. Take me through the process. I come to College Goal Sunday. I fill out the FAFSA, and now it goes to the feds, and I elect CAC as one of my schools.
Okay.
I want to come to CAC now. I get what will I get from the feds? What will they tell me?
Okay. Once you submit your application, you do get a confirmation page and then that follow-up email that the information's made available to the schools listed. What you get is the same thing the schools get. It's a student aid report. It's basically your questions or your answers to the questions. You want to review that for accuracy. The most important section on your student aid report is the comment section. There's going to be comments there that could give you more information as to if you've been selected for verification, if there may be issues, as far as a previously defaulted loan, overpayments that may prevent you from receiving the aid. So the comment section is going to be very crucial to pay attention to. What we do at the school when we receive the student aid report is we then put it into the student information system, and then everything is trickled down to your online student account. So then you have access to it via, your online services to view everything that we see. So once we receive the FAFSA results, if we need additional information, we will be putting these onto your online student account. Therefore, once you get logged into your account, you'll be notified that you need a verification worksheet and possible income information if you'd fail to use that IRS data retrieval tool.
So now I've gotten all the information from the feds. I'm looking at the schools I want to go to that I've selected. CAC has my information. I'm a first-time student. Now I have to go through the CAC process.
Yes.
Do I pick up the phone and call? I mean, if I'm a new student, what do I do? You
have several options. You can pick up the phone and call. You can check your online student account or communicate via website with us through our financial aid email address. Once we have collected the documentation needed and we have a completed package, then we will start the awarding process. The awarding process will then consist of us putting the components together for the cost of attendance, estimating how much it's going to cost for you as a student to attend for this academic year. And then our job is to try to fill that cost of attendance, hopefully with more of the free money first. And then last but not least, if you require a student loan, then you would request that through our online student loan application process.
It's when I'm listening to you talk about the whole process, and I'm trying to remember what I went through in school, and I applied for financial aid, and then you go through the loan process, and I remember it taking months and months, and then almost it was like the spring. I remember one year it was in the spring, they called me up, and I never thought I got anything, and they said, "Oh, we have a check for you here," and I ultimately used it to pay the next semester and didn't have to take out any more loans. But the way that it's been streamlined, you get an answer much faster now.
Yeah, and that's why the application process is starting now. You're applying now to get results, hopefully in the summertime, so that you can make your decision before school starts in August to know how much money you're going to have, how much you can pay for, how much you can afford, and if there's going to be any out-of-pocket or any need for a loan. So if you start the application process with plenty of time and prepare, then you can use the funds to pay for the current semester charges, but you also can use it as a reimbursement tool. So some students, depending on where they're at financially, if they can afford to pay up front, may go the semester and then apply and get reimbursed. If you're needing the funds to start off, now's the time to apply.
You're listening to CAClive. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero. We're visiting with Jose Dagnino from the Central Arizona College Financial Aid Office, talking about College Goals Sunday, and also talking about financial aid and some of the services CAC has to offer. College Goals Sunday, 2 to 4 o'clock at the Casa Grande Center this Sunday, which is at the corner of Treckle and Florence Boulevard in downtown Casa Grande. Even if you're not going to CAC, but you want to learn more about, you want to go to college, and it doesn't matter what age. You could be a college student, maybe you've never gone to college before, you could be in your 30s or 40s, and maybe need some financial aid or a student loan. You should go through this process, shouldn't you?
Yes. A lot of student loans are still out there that are not funded by the federal government, but the federal government loans you want to take a look at first. You may qualify for what's called a subsidized loan, where there's no interest while you're in school. A lot of these external student loans, they are great rates, but the interest is, ticking and tacking right along as you're going to school. Whereas if you apply for a federal subsidized loan, you may be able to get away with not paying as much interest as you would with an external educational loan. So, and you do have to do your FAFSA for these loans. So the FAFSA is required regardless if you just want the grant or you just want the loan. You need to do your FAFSA.
What does FAFSA stand for?
FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. It is free to fill out. There is a FAFSA.com out there, but I would avoid that because it does cost $80 to fill out. So the website to go to is fafsa.ed.gov, and we do have a link to that on the CAC Financial Aid website.
Would there be any reason to go to a company to fill out a FAFSA form?
No, I mean, that's kind of what College Goal Sunday is all about, and what financial aid offices in general would do is kind of, you'd gauge, and ask your questions there. There's really no reason not to do a FAFSA. If situations have changed, that the income that you're providing is no longer being earned, there is adjustments that can be made, and that's facilitated through your financial aid office at the school that you're attending. So don't be put off by, it's asking for 2012 income. 2012 was a good year, but it's not that good right now. Still fill out your FAFSA and work with your financial aid advisors to make those adjustments and see what could possibly be opened up, by exploring what FAFSA has to offer.
If you go down, if you start to fill out, you can fill out the financial aid, the FAFSA form, and you don't qualify for financial aid, but you're qualified for a loan. But it doesn't always mean you have to take the loan. If your situation changes and you've got enough money to pay for your school, just because you've filled out the paperwork and are eligible for a loan doesn't mean you have to take the money.
Correct. At CAC, we're a borrower-initiated school, so students needing to borrow a student loan initiate that process. So we don't automatically package student loans. So students in need of that financing with loans need to go through several different steps to achieve and receive that funding. But that is true even with other schools. They do pre-package the loans, but you can always decline those or reduce those if you don't need that amount. That being said, if you can cover your cost, again, FAFSA is also a good safety net if for some reason, car breaks down or illness happens, something where...
Or book costs.
Book costs are, a little bit more outrageous than you anticipated. Then if you have your FAFSA filled out, the loan's that much closer and the funding's that much closer so that you can get it, within a few days to, about a week's time. Whereas if something comes up and you don't have your FAFSA filed, you're starting from step one of application submittal, then you're 2 or 3 weeks down the road, the funding was needed 2 weeks sooner. It provides kind of a bigger obstacle for financial aid offices to be able to help those students that don't have a FAFSA already on file.
So a good rule of thumb is if you're going to college and you're not even sure if you need financial aid or not, just fill out the FAFSA form, get that on file, and then it's this, if you end up needing the financial aid or the student loan or what have you, that the paperwork is there, so that part of the process doesn't slow down.
Yeah, it's always a lot easier for me to be able to try to help somebody that I know what their FAFSA results may look like. Then I can, maybe get them a book charge even while I'm still working on their FAFSA. But if I don't have their FAFSA and everything's up in the air, then I can't really extend myself to help them out as much as I could with knowing what monies potentially are coming in.
When you're looking at for College Goals Sunday and you're filling out for this coming Sunday when you come, suppose you haven't done your tax returns yet, because obviously they're not due till April 15th. But you come in and fill out the paperwork. You give authorization through the link to the IRS. Will nothing get processed then until you file your taxes?
No, the FAFSA will still get processed and the results will still go to the school. The big key is that comment section on the FAFSA. Once your FAFSA gets processed, it's selected for verification or it's not. If selected for verification is when the school would need to require and collect additional documentation to finalize the eligibility. If it's not selected for verification, it goes straight to the awarding process. So that's where we need to pay attention to, is on that comment section, if selected for verification, to follow up with that process so that you do get an award, soon.
You're listening to CAClive. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero. We're visiting with Jose Dagnino from Central Arizona College's Financial Aid Department. We're talking about College Goals Sunday. How many years has College Goals Sunday been going on? It's almost 10?
Yeah,
it's been a while now.
It's been a while, yeah. I mean, I've been in financial aid about 10 years, and ever since I've started, I could remember College Goals Sunday. And they strategically place it the Sunday after the Super Bowl so it doesn't interfere with the big game. But then this is, again, another kickoff, to your college career. You want to make sure you take advantage of it and, come and see us.
And we'll make sure that the lights won't go off during College Goals Sunday this week down in Casa Grande.
Yeah, we'll make sure of that.
Because you won't be able to fill out the stuff online then, obviously. The last few years, have you seen more and more people taking advantage of College Goals Sunday?
Actually, with the streamlining that the government has done, it's actually allowed a lot more people to figure out and fill out their FAFSAs on their own. But we have seen a lot more FAFSAs, so that kind of goes hand in hand with the streamlining. The more FAFSAs that we get, the more that we can help the students decipher the FAFSA and figure out what they may qualify for and get the dollars that they need to them. So I think that with them streamlining our attendance has suffered a little, but our applications haven't. So, it's kind of win-win still.
So saying that the attendance has suffered a little bit is not necessarily a bad thing. It means that people are getting it more and more and able to do it more on their own. So now that gives you more time for people that really need the help maybe for the first time that have no idea.
Yeah, we're spending a lot less time with figuring out how to apply and getting the dollars to them, which is the goal of the application, is to get the dollars in hand.
Do people come on that College Goals Sunday, even though it's a nationwide thing? Do you get a lot of people coming and asking questions about coming to CAC?
We do. Since it's a local event that we held there. We do get a lot of students inquiring about just what we have to offer. But it's over the past years, we've gotten a little bit more mixture of students. But we get, I would say, about 70% of the people that we help end up at CAC.
Wow. When you have this event, did students come in by themselves, or is it more of a sort of a family event that they come in, especially the young students?
With our high school students, we do see the family coming in, which is awesome. We see mom and dad getting involved, and even the younger siblings kind of seeing, hey, what's this? What's all this about? For all they knew, school was free. And this is the first kind of introduction to them that it's not really as free as you think. Even though you're not paying for it now, your taxes are still paying for your elementary, junior high and high school. When you get to college is when you actually get a bill that you have to pay for. And that's where students, it's again an educational experience that we like to be involved in. And sometimes we get a little bit more involved since we deal with the money aspect of it. So, we like to make sure every experience at CAC is a learning experience, from advising to registration to financial aid.
You're listening to CAC Live on KQCK in the Santan Valley. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero, visiting with Jose Dagnino, talking about financial aid and the College Goals Sunday at Central Arizona College, 2 to 4 o'clock this Sunday down at the Casa Grande Center. It's located at the intersection of Florence and Treckle. It's the one with the digital signboard that's outside, one of the busiest intersections in Casa Grande. You don't need an appointment, do you, to come into College Goals Sunday? You just show up?
Just show up. We're going to be fully staffed there. Our financial aid staff is going to be there. Myself, our director, Lisa Juarez, will be there, ready for those questions and get your FAFSAs filled out.
The staff at CAC that do this, they volunteer their time to help out students. Now, if I'm a student that maybe my family doesn't speak English, maybe they're first generation, maybe they just speak Spanish, are there people on site to help them navigate those forms?
Se habla español, Tom.
There you go.
Yeah, we will be able to facilitate that. Spanish is probably our only language, but with financial aid and money, sometimes that's an international language. So, we can get by with, if we just have IRS information or tax information, we can kind of get by and filling out the application. So we'll make it work.
So people should feel comfortable coming in, and they can be able to ask the right questions and be able to get the help that they need to come to college. How much is getting financial aid, getting through this process, getting a student loan, how much of it is a bridge to a college education for people that maybe, if they don't go this route, never have that opportunity?
I think, for one, in our county, it's crucial. I mean, we see a lot of students that, for one, have the high need and are eligible for the grants that the government provides to them. I think if they can take advantage of it and be successful at that, it's going to come full circle right back to our community. I think with CAC being who we are and trying to uplift Pinal County, it's all just going to come back full circle. Once we're able to assist here, then we can help out in other places. So once we take care of our own first, then we'll be able to help out and grow exponentially, through other counties. So I think we're in a great spot. We're we're growing. We're just going to be able to help more and more people. And I just want to be able to be a part of that and be able to provide the help that is needed.
And you've been at CAC a long time, during your career, do you ever run across students that you've helped on College Goal Sunday?
I run into students, and then 2 or 3 years later, the next graduate's coming up. I've had one family, I think it's come back, they came back last year, and they're going to be coming back again this year. And it's just that relationship that we've built throughout the years, although it be just financial aid related, it's still something you get a familiar face in town and you're able to see them and you still say, how you doing to them and kind of touch base to see where their student is at now. And you learn that they've, used CAC as their stepping stool, got their 2-year degree, and now they're, out of state somewhere and going for their dream. And it's like, wow, I was a part of that. I did play a part in that somehow. I offered them some scholarships or gave them some guidance on this or that. And, it helped out. And they're where they're at because of the group effort that, CAC was a part of. So
I probably don't need to ask this because just by the way you're answering the question, but obviously it's rewarding to you to see that.
Yeah, it's definitely rewarding. Even at times, you just get students that come in and they just want to say thank you. You think they might ask another question or might have another issue, and they really just want to come by and say thanks. That takes a lot of weight off of your shoulders when you're, you got a big workload and be like, wow, how am I going to get through this? That one student or that one thank you note that comes in through email or through mail is like, that's why I do it. And, it kind of keeps me plugging away because I know what I do does make a difference.
What other types of financial aid are available besides federal? Is there state? Is there institutional? Are there scholarships? What are some options that students maybe have that don't qualify for like federal financial aid?
Well, the federal is the first level, and you'll always qualify even if it is for a loan. But the next tier would be institutional. Checking out the website of the school, for us, we have institutional and foundation scholarships, where we have an allocation where we try to meet the requirements of the institution and the donors to make sure we find students that are in need and meet the requirements for them to receive the dollars that they have set forth, for those students to be successful in school. So we have a variety of scholarship programs that students automatically qualify for based upon academic standings in high school. And when they graduate high school, we look at, for academic achievement, we look at our academic scholarship, and then we have a Promise to the Future scholarship that we also look at. And this time of years when we're looking at that to notify students again for the upcoming 2013-2014 academic year. Along with that, the application process for scholarships also begins end of February, beginning of March. And it's all to get prepared for that upcoming fall semester. Studies show out there that finances is the biggest burden on everybody, regardless if you're going to school or not. But if you have a good plan and a good financial plan at that set forth, and you know what's coming in and what may needing to be come out of pocket, then at least you're more prepared and you can, set up a game plan so that you don't fail. If you're in the middle of the semester still trying to struggle with how am I going to pay for this semester, you're just added that much more stress to your classes. So if you can figure out and get your finances situated prior to school starting, then you'll have that much more of a successful semester.
If you take financial aid at any level, institutional, federal, student loans, are there certain educational requirements that you have to be successful? You have to complete so many credits, certain grade point average. What are some of the things that people need to know? Because I'm imagining that they're just not going to give you the money every year if you're not going to school.
Correct. Not along with that, as we refer to that as satisfactory academic progress. And for federal student aid, it's a guideline that you have to complete at least 67% of the attempted credits that you take that semester. and maintaining a 2.0 cumulative GPA. That being said, if you're receiving other types of funds, these other types of funds may have their own specific academic progress requirements, where the GPA may be a little bit higher, or you may need to complete a certain number of credit hours. So you want to be aware of what's funding your education and what academic progress requirements you may need to keep for each individual fund, if it is a mixture of federal, institutional, or private dollars coming in.
What would happen if I didn't meet some of those criteria after a year and I came back in and filled out financial aid paperwork? It would basically flag me?
It would flag you as not making satisfactory academic progress. You do have the option of submitting an appeal to explain the extenuating circumstances that occurred that played part in not meeting academic progress. Once reviewed, if those circumstances were extenuating and can be documented, then you will be have a chance for an approval on that. And that's something that you want to be wary of as well, because not only satisfactory academic progress appeals, every appeal runs a risk of being denied, but there's also a lifetime limit as to how much aid you can receive for your bachelor's degree. And this comes in the form of a Pell Grant lifetime limit or student loan aggregate limit. They're only going to give you so many dollars until you reach the end or you achieve your bachelor's degree.
If you were a student, say, coming out of high school, 18, 19 years old, you tried to go to college, you either took a loan or some financial aid, didn't make it, life gets in the way sometimes, you go to work. Now you're in your 40s, you come back, maybe you didn't pay back those loans. Or maybe you didn't complete the requisite credits with the grade point average. Now you're 45 years old, you're a different person. You want to start over again. You're coming back to a place like CAC. You're going to apply. How will that impact you? Will that impact you?
It does impact you because it's a defaulted loan, so you would have to resolve that status prior to receiving future aid, but it doesn't stop you from applying. So in the meantime, you would still want to do your FAFSA. You'd still want to secure, your classes if you're wanting to get enrolled, because we do have a payment plan that you can pay as you go. In the meantime, as you're rehabilitating your loans, once you've rehabilitated that back into a non-defaulted status, then we can from that point forward begin to fund you with federal aid. So you may go, that you need to maybe start rehabilitating the loan now, and you may receive your payment April or May for this semester. Everything begins from that point forward. So if you have a defaulted loan or an overpayment that needs to be resolved, once it's resolved, from that point forward, you regained your eligibility with the respect to the federal requirements. Now, if you have to appeal, then you want to submit your appeal as well with time to spare. Right now, if you're needing to appeal for this semester, there is a requirement that we get a progress report. So if you are, starting out now and, for late start classes or whatever, you may find yourself needing to appeal, then we will require a progress report since the semester has already began. But if you can anticipate, or if you know that you have to already appeal, then you want to get that in with time so that we can review that as well. So you're looking at a few issues, resolving the defaulted or previous owed student debt, your current appeal status, and then also getting your FAFSA in order. You have basically three things that you would have to make sure that is in order. Your previous defaulted loan status, your appeal, and make sure that your current FAFSA is on file. But it's not something that it's totally a denial. It's something that you can work on. And just by getting back into school, you should qualify for a deferment as long as you're 6 credits or more. So you may not need to make any payments. It may just be a matter of getting back enrolled so you get your loan back into a deferment status so it's no longer in default. That's something that you would work with your loan holder to see what your options are as to getting that out of default so that you can regain eligibility.
Is that something, though, that I said it's something that happened 20 or 25 years ago, that if they come fill out, they might not even, they may know in the back of their mind that something they had, but is that something that would come to light that you could give direction and say, okay, here's what we see on your records, here's our recommendation, you need to go talk to your loan officer and you need to do this. Is that something CAC would help or give direction toward?
Yes, we can, and we can even do that prior to filling out the FAFSA, because the FAFSA will flag for that, and that'll give us specific information. But even prior to that, if you're just kind of wondering whether or not, oh, did I take care of that loan? It might be in the back of your mind, like maybe I didn't pay all that off. There is a National Student Loan Database. It's NSLDS, and we have a link to that on our financial aid homepage as well. And you can basically view all your financial aid history from this database. And if there's any issues as far as default or overpayment or what have you that's could prevent you from receiving future aid, it'll be on this website here. And then once you do your FAFSA, again, it'll go through those checks and it'll flag the file and notify you in your comment section. So that comment section, once you do your FAFSA, is really, the catch-all that'll give you any and all information, good and bad, because it'll also tell you that you're not selected for verification, which is good.
You're listening to CAClive. Joe Carrero, who stepped out of the studio for a little bit, and he'll be back shortly. We do want to get to some phone calls before we get done the show here in about 20 minutes. And we're visiting with Jose Dagnino, the representing the Financial Aid Office at Central Arizona College, talking about College Goals Sunday, and also about the different financial aid options and some of the things that people can do, because it is an important step. It really helps people get into college. Jose, can you explain a little bit how the role of parents when figuring financial aid and loans and those kind of things, because young people, and I guess there's an expected contribution factor that parents are supposed to commit, and how does all that work?
When filling out the FAFSA, they basically categorize students into independent or dependent. Independent students are those students who, for one, are over the age of 24, are married at the current time of application, or there's a series of questions that they can answer yes to one of them, and that categorizes them as independent. Other examples of questions are if they're a current veteran, if they have children that they're providing majority support for. They've added some questions to accommodate for students that may have been or are homeless at the time of doing the application. So there's a series of questions that determine this independent or dependent status. If your status is one that is determined as dependent, then you're obligated to provide your parents' income information on there. And if your parents are married, then you'd provide mom and dad's. If they're separated or divorced, then you would provide the information for the parent that you most recently lived with. If they're remarried, then you would provide, parent and step-parent information. If for some reason, as a dependent student, you're unable to provide this information, you still have a few options from there. You can either go through what's called the dependency override, which would be facilitated through the institution that you're attending. Basically, you would inform them of what your situation is, and with the focus being on the reason why you're unable to obtain parental information, so that the offices can make a determination whether your situation qualifies you for independent status. The other option is, as a dependent student, if parents are just simply unwilling and just don't want to give you their tax information, then the government will still allow you to borrow an unsubsidized loan. But unwillingness for parents just saying, I don't want to provide you with my taxes, you don't need to know that. That in and of itself will not allow institutions to classify their students as independent. It has to be extreme cases such as like incarceration or abandonment.
If parents, say you're a student, you're like 19 years old, and you are filing your own taxes. You're not listed as dependent on your parents' taxes. Does that qualify?
No, financial independence in and of itself does not qualify. I mean, there may have been a situation why you're financially independent, and that's kind of what we need to kind of get to know as far as the breakdown between the parental, and child relationship.
Let's talk a little bit about in terms of parents. If parents have, especially today, and let's give out the number again, 480-745-1033, 480-745-1033 if you have any questions. If parents, especially today, with what happened financially over the last 5 or 6 years, parents have lost houses. Parents financially maybe have filed for bankruptcy. Does that impact the process for the student trying to get a loan or financial aid?
It can. Like I said, this 2013-2014 FAFSA is going to require this 2012 calendar year income. So if 2013 calendar year income, let's say mom for some reason, got laid off, or, in 2012, maybe the parents cashed out the pension, because they, hard times, and 2013, there's no more pension to cash out. So, the income level is not going to be what it was. Then that's when the applicant still fills out the FAFSA with the required information, and then takes it up with the school to say, hey, in 2012, we earned 40 grand, but this year we're only earning 20 because 20 of that from last year was a pension that we took out. So there can be adjustments, and it can impact eligibility. When you file your FAFSA, all the information is taken and computed, and what the government spits out is a EFC number. The EFC stands for Expected Family Contribution, and it's not necessarily what is to be paid out of pocket. It's more of a measure to see what you may qualify for based off of Pell Grants. So the EFC number guides and determines how much Pell Grant you will receive. The lower the EFC number, the greater the Pell Grant. The EFC bottoms out at 0 and maximizes the Pell Grant at $5,550 for the school year, breaks down to $2,775 for a full-time semester.
I believe we have a question from the audience.
We have a question from Penny Ramirez, Casa Grande. She says, when do we have to have all our paperwork in for the next semester to get set up for a grant?
Well, now's the application season, so you want to fill out your FAFSA for 2013, 2014 as soon as possible. We'll begin our cycle. We usually begin end of this month, beginning of next month is when we start at CAC preparing and downloading 2013, 2014 files, and we're working simultaneously this current year, the summer term, and next year as well. So just keep following up with your online student account, and everything that we do is reflected upon there.
If you'd like to come this Sunday, and they'll help you fill out for College Goal Sunday all of your paperwork. And military aid, what things do our veterans, are there any special thing that they need to do, or they follow the same process?
Veterans follow the same process. A lot of them, they're pleasantly surprised as well. I mean, they have their GI Bill, they have their, post 9/11 bill, however benefits or whichever VA benefits they're pulling off of. In addition to their VA benefits, they can still do FAFSA. So a lot of veterans, may forego FAFSA because they are getting wonderful VA benefits, but this could be an additional resource that veterans could also use.
And veterans deserve that for everything that they do for this country. Joe, looks like you got another question.
Frida from Phoenix, moving to Santan Valley. Can we do this over the internet, or is it imperative that we come into the financial office?
It's not, unless you have, a burning question that you need answered. Like I said, the FAFSA application has been streamlined, so the application process is no longer the big issue that it used to be. It's after you apply that you make sure you follow up and keep following up till you get the results that you're needing, or you get your questions answered.
The
Did you want to give away a pair of tickets during the
if
show?
you'd like to.
Sure,
that's what
absolutely.
Yeah, if you'd like. If we'd
So
like to.
if you want to give a pair of tickets to Incantera for this weekend for the big Food Network shows, why don't we do that during your show here?
It's called Eat, Play, Love.
Right, but when they call in, they have to say, I love... What's the name of your show?
CAClive.
That's right. I love CAClive.
All right. So the number is 480-745-1033, 480-745-1033, and you have to say, I love
CAClive.
And you think I'm a little slow today with that medication.
This way, if people don't hear that they called in, I can give them the tickets.
That sounds good. But we have about 10 minutes left, and we're talking about College Goal Sunday and financial aid. And give us a call, 480-745-1033, about questions. And Joe got a call already. So we encourage, especially military families, to come in and apply through the FAFSA form, even though they have the GI Bill and some of these other things, and come in on College Goal Sunday. You can stop in at any of the centers or campuses throughout Pinal County of Central Arizona College, but this Sunday, stop by, bring the family from 2 to 4, and it's a way to get – it's an investment of time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and it's going to be a great return on your investment, especially if you get those FAFSAs filled out. You get, hopefully some desirable results, and you can kind of check that off of your checklist. Your FAFSA done. Now you can go look and, maybe do some shopping on that Sunday for some of your dorm room stuff and, get a little bit more stuff done as far as getting your college career underway. The FAFSA is the first start. Let us help you make that a smooth transition this Sunday. And if you're not available to come out Sunday, just follow up with us in our financial aid office, and we still be able to get you on the right foot in the right direction.
Looks like we got a caller.
That was quick. Cheryl Simpson of Coolidge won a pair of tickets to the Incantera Food Network show this Saturday.
Congratulations.
So you're going to have to come down and pick them up, though, Cheryl.
At the
radio station here.
Does she know how to get here?
Yeah.
Give you a call?
Yep.
Okay. We'll leave them here for you. That's awesome. And what time is that on Saturday?
I think it's an all-day show.
I was looking at the tickets
So
here.
it should be really cool. Everything from wine tasting to all kinds of different foods. And there's the cake guy there that builds all those incredible cakes. And so go hungry, I think.
Featuring Tyler Florence and Duff Goldman, this Rain or Shine, this Saturday, February 9th. The Good Life Festival at Incantera Country Club. So that should be a lot of fun.
It should be, yeah.
So congratulations. 480-745-1033. Again, we're visiting with Jose Dagnino from the Financial Aid Office at Central Arizona College, and we've blown through most of the hour here. Jose, people that want financial aid help aside from College Goal Sunday, they can go into any of the locations at Central Arizona College and get the help?
We do our main campus, our Signal Peak campus, is where we have all of our processors. We do have a customer representation at the Superstition Mountain campus and our Aravaipa campus. But all of our centers and our other areas, we do have community outreach coordinators that can get in touch with us if needed. But for the most part can handle the basic financial aid questions. The best tool that we have here at CAC is our website. Everything that we try to promote and make sure that students are knowledgeable about, we try to put on our website. So just take a visit on there, read up on the information, any suggestions, send us an email. We look forward to that, and we'll provide any and all information via our website that we know that is pertinent and very informative to our students.
We have another question.
I've got a quick one from Rod in Queen Creek, and he says, I won't hold you to it, but do you have any idea when the Santan Valley campus is planning on opening for school?
The Santan Valley campus will open up in August. this coming August.
Holy cow! Is that quick?
The center's open now. Been open for a number of years, but they.
I was thinking 2018. I guess I'm only kidding.
Give our president a heart attack.
Just kidding.
So, we'll be open for August.
Yeah,
now,
right on.
probably, I would say, will all the buildings be up and running at that point? No, like the city of Maricopa, our campus is open there. We have one of the 3 buildings open. The other 2 will be done later this spring. Will be fully functional come the fall. Santan campus right now, we will start with classes there in August. So if you're excited or seeing that construction going up, and there'll be people, once that opens, that'll be a bigger center for people to be able to go over to and get financial aid help.
Yeah, we're in the process right now of even securing representation for our Maricopa campus. So Maricopa and Santan, once we're more operational there, then we will have representation at those sites as well. And being that we have several sites, we only have one school code, which is 007283, and that'll be used on your FAFSA. So 007283 is our federal school code.
That's funny because everybody fills out those forms, and all of a sudden they ask that question, and people go, "Where do I get that?" So 007283 for Central Arizona College. If you forget the number, can you look that up somewhere?
Yeah, when you're filling out your FAFSA, you can search, and it'll bring up all the schools. It'll be on our website, so you can check our website. But it's 007283.
I'm not sure I completely understand this question, but maybe you will. Linda from Coolidge says, will it be possible to take my classes and just move from the AJ to the Santan Valley campus without having to pay more or losing credits?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the AJ and the Santan campus, like, we're still CAC, so your credits don't need to be transferred because they pretty much already are, and it's going to be the same cost as it is at any CAC location.
As long as the classes are offered at both places, right?
Yeah, and I think probably people should kind of understand when people look at the Maricopa Community College system, they have separate colleges.
Gotcha.
It's all one system, but they have Scottsdale and Red Mountain, or Mesa Community College and South Mountain. They're different colleges. Now, I don't know what their rules are transferring. They may or not. But CAC in Pinell County is one institution. We just have locations at different spots. They're not separate colleges.
That makes it much easier, doesn't it?
It does. So right now, as we speak right now, we actually have 11 locations because we have the campus open in Maricopa, and then we have the center still open in Maricopa, which eventually will close. So CAC right now has 4 campuses that are up and running, and then in terms of centers, 7. Yep. And then the centers will, in Santan and in Maricopa, will go away as those campuses and those 2 locations are fully functional. So yes, you can go. There are students, I'm sure, filling out financial aid questions. They probably ask the same thing. Are they different locations? And it's all one.
It's all one, and that does make it a lot easier even when it comes for financial aid. We only have the one school code. So everything gets handled at our district office, which is our Signal Peak campus, but we do have representation and can get your questions answered at any and all of our locations.
Had a little bit of a panic call there. Tomas from Maricopa, I think he may have just caught it wrong. He says, please don't tell me the Maricopa campus is closing. I go there. It's not closing right now, right?
No. It's
like, oh my god.
No, and where's he calling from?
Maricopa.
The city of Maricopa,
correct.
Which I know that gets a little confusing sometimes. So we always say CAC's campus in the city of Maricopa, which is in Pinell County and not part of the Maricopa Community College system. Okay, so everybody understands that. No. There's 2 centers in the shopping center there on John Wayne Parkway, where CAC has been for a number of years. 2 locations. They're down a couple storefronts down from each other. No, those are open, and those will continue to be open for now. But once the campus is fully functional, then there will not be a need to have those 2 storefront, in that strip shopping center anymore. We'll have all our functions out at the campus. Right now, both locations are open, and no, your classes are don't panic. No, you can still go, but it's great. I'd like to know where he's listening from in Maricopa.
Yeah, I didn't even ask that.
It's Maricopa. Great. We have about a minute or two. 480-745-1033, 10:33 if there's any other final questions for people. And Jose, we appreciate you coming on. I know it's one of those things when you talk about money and the education and how much you have to put out, it gets a lot of people's attention because they really don't understand a lot of the whole significance about this.
Yeah, and the feds, they change the rules, seems like almost every year now, so it's imperative that students, even if you know the process, get your FAFSA filed, get with your institutions, get with your financial aid offices, and, make sure that your file's being completed, and making sure that you understand how the results came to be if there are questions. So you want to make sure that you follow up, and follow up.
And Joe's taking one last question here, and it's a long question, so we're going to let this person because we are at 11:30, and then we'd like to help our listeners and appreciate our listeners from across the country.
I was just chatting with her. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
She basically wanted to know what is the cost per credit hour, and I was kind of directing her to the website. But
it's $72 a credit hour currently. Next year's hasn't been set, so right now we're at $72 a credit hour.
She's an MCC. She goes to MCC, lives in Tempe, and is moving out east to her parents. So wanted to look into CAC.
From convenience, from online to going in person. And the cost is unbelievable. Yeah. $72 a credit hour.
And please go to the website and take a look, because there's a lot of. She was asking about courses, and I unfortunately I don't know about that. But what's the website?
Central Arizona, centralaz.edu. The one thing I do want to point out is the quick links on there. Quick links you can get to financial aid, the college catalog. Get to all the information that you're looking for as maybe a new student or a potential student. But centralaz.edu.
Jose, again, the hour's blown by. Thanks for, I know you weren't feeling well. We appreciate you trekking up here to the studio, and good luck this Sunday. I know it's an important day of the year, College Goal Sunday, 2 to 4 o'clock at the Casa Grande Center at the corner of Treckle and Florence in Casa Grande. Bring your information, come out. They'll help you fill out your FAFSA forms and answer any questions about financial aid. Jose, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tom.
And Joe, I'm glad you're starting to feel better, and hopefully we'll have a disinfected studio next week.
Yeah, right. I'll get the Lysol out.
So actually, Dara Tompkins will be doing her first show. She's going to be the host next week.
Nice.
I have to step out of town next Thursday, but she'll be talking about some of the upcoming events at CAC. So for Jose and for Joe, I'm Tom DiCamillo. We'll catch you next week on CAC Live on KQCK in the Santan Valley.
Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort